Hey everyone, what's going on? Nathan here, bringing you yet another Team Fortress 2 commentary, and in this commentary we will be talking about the Tomislav and the Gloves of Running Urgently. Now, quick note about this gameplay. This is the, first gameplay ever in one of these commentaries where it was, start to finish, so I'm not actually going to cut anything out. I think I end up going, 60 and, 25 or something around there, but it was a pretty good round as Heavy. I had a Pocket with me pretty much the entire time because he actually kind of favored me as a Heavy over our teammates because yeah, the other teammates were pretty derpy. But anyway, let's get into this breakdown video. Okay, so as I said before, the two topics I want to cover are the Tomislav and the Gloves of Running Urgently, so I will start off with the Tomislav. I'm just going to say it, I think that this weapon is far underpowered. Valve just nerfed it to hell and back, and now it is the worst minigun in the game, no question. Even the Natasha is pretty much better than this weapon. So the Tomislav's stats are 10% faster spin-up time, silent killer, no barrel spin sound, and 20% slower firing speed. Now, pre-Pyromania patch, I believe it was the Pyromania patch that the Tomislav got nerfed, now it has a plus 10% faster spin-up time, which, in my opinion, it makes no difference whatsoever to the default minigun, yet it still has that 20% slower firing speed. So with the 10% faster firing speed basically making no difference to the default minigun, what you're left for the stats with this weapon are the 20% slower firing speed and then the silent spin-up time, but it's actually not an initial silent spin-up, it's just silent while spinning because it makes that little clicking noise when you initially spin it up, as most people know when using this weapon. And if you think about it, the only pro to this weapon being the silent spin-up time has no practical use on the battlefield other than not being annoying because really, when isn't a Heavy surrounded by teammates? I could think of only one instance where a silent spin-up would be useful, and that's if you're camping outside of the enemy spawn and you want to take them by surprise. But really, other than not being annoying, the silent spin-up time just has no use on the battlefield and is not that good of a pro. Also, in my opinion, the pre-patch for the Tomislav, where it had a 40% faster spin-up time instead of 10%, was much more versatile, and I think that would be a much better stat on this minigun because pre-patch, the Tomislav was a good minigun, definitely not the worst. Pretty much the Natasha was the worst minigun back then. But basically what you had with the Tomislav was that it could maybe sometimes compete with the default minigun because it had that faster spin-up time. And it was really pretty much noticeable. I mean, you could spin it up, kill somebody, and then keep moving along your way. But now with the 10% faster spin-up time, that is just not noticeable. And the Tomislav is definitely the worst minigun right now. And I believe that the 40% faster spin-up time should be restored because it wasn't even that powerful in the first place. If you matched up a default minigun to the Tomislav pre-patch, the Tomislav would lose pretty much 75% of the time. The only instance where the default minigun lost in that situation was if the Tomislav guy came around the corner and took the default minigun guy by surprise. One other opinion of mine that kind of backs up the opinion that the 10% faster spin-up time on the Tomislav is not that noticeable is that the direct round after I got this gameplay, I switched back to the default minigun because I still wanted to play some Heavy because I don't play it that much, and I just wanted to sort of compare what the gameplay is like with the Tomislav versus the minigun, and honestly, in my opinion, I thought the default minigun spun up faster. It was just not noticeable how the Tomislav somehow got a 10% faster spin-up time, and plus with the default minigun, you were dealing out literally 20% more damage because it fires 20% faster. Anyways, guys, that's just sort of my rant on the Tomislav, and I just wanted to tell you that you shouldn't be using it because it's not that good of a weapon, and actually, people don't use it that often anyway, so that's pretty good. I don't know if the community really picked up on its weakness, but a lot of the default minigun is actually seen, so... Anyway, moving on to the next topic, the Gloves of Running Urgently. I'm going to put this bluntly, and people are not going to like it. The gloves of running urgently are far overpowered, and I cannot believe how many people don't know that. The Gru take out the Heavy's #1 weakness, which is his speed, and Valve recently buffed them, and a lot of people think it's a nerf, but it is actually a buff where you don't take the 6 damage per second. Instead, you take mini crits while the gloves are out, and this is it just drives me insane how people don't know that this is overpowered. So, pre-patch, let's put in a scenario here to show that the Gru were actually worse than what they are now. So, if I'm playing on Dust Bowl defense and I was recently killed as a Heavy, assuming I don't have a medic with me, I'm respawning and I have to run to the first point of Dust Bowl from the last point of Dust Bowl. It takes about 12 seconds to run there with the Gru out, and assuming I'm taking 6 health per second, I would lose about 72 health to get to the front lines. Now, that means I would be left with 228 health if I did my math right there in my head. So really, assuming I get no health packs, I am sacrificing about a third of my health to get to the front lines, and maybe there's a medic there to heal me or something, but at least with the Gru, you're making a sacrifice that is more major than just taking mini crits when they're out and then 3 seconds after you put them away. I mean, any good Heavy will realistically put the Gru away in time for the mini crits to go away. However, with the pre-patch Gru, you can't just put them away and gain your health back. Yes, you can get a med pack, maybe a medic can heal you, but at least there you're not guaranteed that it is a temporary effect rather than permanent. And really, I'm even skipping the most important part here. The Gru themselves, post or pre-patch, take out the Heavy's #1 weakness, which is his speed. So the Heavy is maximum damage, minimum speed, just like the Scout is maximum speed, minimum damage. Technically, you know, get my quotes there, my air quotes. But with the Gru, you're taking out the Heavy's speed weakness. That would be like giving the Scout a damage bonus whenever he wants on his scattergun so that he can do the damage that the Heavy does. Now, am I saying the Heavy is overpowered himself? No, the Heavy is balanced just like every other class in this game. However, the weapons of the Gru take away his #1 weakness, which does make him overpowered if the person decides to equip this weapon. But anyways, guys, I just don't want to keep ranting about this. For some reason, people don't think these gloves are overpowered, and whenever I mention it on, like, just a random pub server, people get in arguments, and they're like, oh, it's not overpowered, when it obviously takes away the Heavy's #1 weakness, as I've already said. But I just wanted to let you guys know that it is overpowered, and hopefully my logic can just, like, persuade you to see the truth or whatever. And honestly, I think Valve should nerf it again and make it instead maybe the Heavy loses 12 health per second instead of 6, because that would make it at least less powerful, because he'd be just losing tons and tons of health to basically take away his speed weakness. So that pretty much wraps up this video, guys. This match actually went into the 17-minute mark, and I'm disappointed that I actually didn't get to use all of it, being I did get like such a good score, pretty much like a 3 KD, but yeah, so we actually do end up winning somehow. This is like the first time on Dust Bowl that I've played where we had like 10 minutes left and defense was still able to pull something off. But anyway, if you like the video, please leave a like rating. I really appreciate that. And if you'd like Team Fortress 2 or my previous videos, feel free to subscribe. I bring TF2 and also some Left 4 Dead 2. I'm doing a solo Let's Play. But anyway, I'm just going to stop rambling about myself, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.